My view is, based on prior experience, if we don't know who won on Election Day, Trump's going to lose. I know everyone asks me, I shouldn't say everyone, many ask, what do I think is going to happen on Election Day? I don't know what's going to happen on Election Day, and no one really knows for sure. I have my personal suspicions. I tend to think Trump is more likely to win than Kamala Harris. I tend to think that Congress is going to be Republican, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure. You know, and from Judicial Watch's perspective, it doesn't really matter who wins in the sense that we still have a job to do. And as a citizen, I think you should take the same approach. It doesn't matter who you support, Harris or Trump, or even a third-party candidate, I don't know. But there's always work to do for citizens. I mean, the vigilance must continue. But in terms of the election outcomes and disputes about the elections, which I think is something I can really get into, there are three outcomes in the election, in my view, or the three most likely outcomes, because there's always something weird that could happen. I can't even fathom. Kamala Harris wins outright. It's election night. There's no doubt she won. There's no votes that are going to change the election, and she's declared essentially the winner, and the party's over. Similarly, Trump wins on election night. No doubt he won. There are no votes that are going to change the outcome that are outstanding. Party's over. And then there's the third result, which is the 2020 result, is that there is no candidate who is declared the winner on Election Day, essentially. That's unclear who won. And my view is, based on prior experience, if we don't know who won on Election Day, Trump's going to lose, because of what I believe to be illicit voting, or now illicit counting of votes past Election Day. In 2020, Trump had the votes to win the election on election night, and those results changed as a result of unprecedented counting after Election Day. And if that happens again, I think Trump's going to lose. And I think it would be an illicit result, certainly in the least a controversial result, and we'll just have a 2020 dispute all over again about how the elections were run. So that's what's going to happen, I think, one way or the other. One of those three results. I tend to think that Kamala Harris isn't going to be able to win outright, but we'll see. Who knows? I don't know. In the meantime, but Judicial Watch will provide independent oversight of the elections, right? So it's not to achieve a result because we like or dislike a candidate. It's to ensure that the rule of law as it relates to elections are upheld. And as I announced last week, Judicial Watch will have a team in Wisconsin, or teams in Wisconsin, monitoring the polls. And I did a little video describing our work in this regard. Hey everyone, we've got some big news. Judicial Watch election monitoring teams will be on the ground in Wisconsin to watch the polls on Election Day. We will be there to expose and deter any fraud. On top of that, we have a national election integrity monitoring program that allows voters like you to contact us if they run into any issues at the polls, see anything suspicious, have issues with machines. You know what the issues potentially could be. Report any of that to us directly at electionlaw@judicialwatch.org, electionlaw@judicialwatch.org. Again, Judicial Watch is committed to the heavy lifting to ensure fair and clean elections for you. So our election teams will be run by Bob Popper, who's a former senior official in the Justice Department as it relates to voting and law enforcement, election law enforcement. And so we're going to be there carefully monitoring the polls where we can, And because Wisconsin obviously is a place that is important in this election, so I think it's important to have independent observers there. And it's just a straightforward, we're not there to make noise, we're there to observe, report. Hopefully our presence, our team's presence, deters fraud, and hopefully our presence also, to the degree any fraud exists, allows us to uncover it because we're there seeing what might happen in person. In addition, we're going to rely on you to report issues as it relates to the elections as well. This is why we stood up the Judicial Watch election fraud report line. Again, go to, you just send an email to electionlaw@judicialwatch.org, electionlaw@judicialwatch.org, and just send the emails. And if, and you may think it's unimportant, and it actually may be unimportant, but unless we see the email, we can't judge whether it's important or not. Now, maybe we can't pursue every lead that you send us, but again, we can't pursue leads you don't send us. So don't be shy about using the email. Okay, if there's something that's concerning to you, and you're a voter, you've been voting, probably many of you watching this have been voting for some time, you know what's up and what's down in the voting process. And if you follow Judicial Watch, you certainly know, what issues might arise when you go to vote. So if there are any issues that pop up, do let us know. And as we describe in our the page here, we'll provide a link to it. There are 3 things you need to do. If there's an issue, tell calmly, but directly, your local polling officials what's going on. Call your state's election hotline. You can look that up pretty easily, and also send an email to Judicial Watch. And never, ever get into a confrontation with another voter. Stay calm, talk to the officials, send an email to Judicial Watch. So that's pretty easy to remember. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and like our video down below.